I communicate with plants, and plants communicate with me. My name is Ralph Simpson, and I'm a plant fiber artist. I work with using plant fibers that I collect in Fredericton, or in the fields and forests around Fredericton. I collect them and I process them, store them, and when I'm ready to make something, I rehydrate them and I weave with the plant fibers. I make baskets and sculptural pieces. I communicate with plants, and plants communicate with me. When I'm making something, making some of my work, I'm in conversation or at least thought with the different plants. One other word that I would use to describe my work would be tactile. It's about the feel of things, the feel of bark, or the feel of some other plant fiber that I might be using in this. My work is very intentional. That I know what I know what I'm going to build, and I know what plant fibers I have, and so I'm very deliberate in my process. It started when I was very young. I was what would you call a free-range kid. You know, I just was outside all the time and loved that. When I grew up, I went off to study plants at university and botany and ecology. And so sustainability is a big part of my practice. I've always liked plant materials and I look for things to do with it. And plants were very interesting, the structure, the way they grew, and what you could do with them. And so I've always been comfortable with them and looking at them and appreciating their delicacy sometimes, or their strength, and whether they can, how hard you can pull before they won't stand that. And learning ways of making them stronger, like doubling them up, making a cord with them, making string out of them. We met with a person who was blind, and I watched her with this piece here, and I watched how she read it. And that was eye-opening for me, because we just look at things and we know it, or we understand it. But she doesn't have the ability to see. So she had to use her fingers. And so it was eye-opening for me to see what she did, how she read the basket from top to bottom, from right to left, to try to understand what it was she had in her hands and what it was made of. So that kind of opened up a whole new thing for me about the tactility of it. And so those kind of things I hadn't been thinking about. You take that for granted that you can see, and everyone that comes to the exhibition can see, but that's not true. In spirit of inclusion, I try to make these other pieces about trees and about nature that will help them to understand a bit about what I am about.